Dawn. The savannah stretches like a golden ocean beneath the first pale light of day. The grass, still heavy with dew, bends under a subtle, cooling wind that carries the scent of earth and a faint trace of distant herds. In the distance, the low hum of cicadas begins, punctuated by the sharp, metallic cry of a hornbill. A lone cheetah lies low in the short grass, shoulders coiled, eyes scanning the horizon. Its coat gleams in the early light, patterned for camouflage, each muscle taut beneath its skin. Not far away, a small herd of impala grazes cautiously, ears flicking, nostrils flaring as they taste the air. Every sense is alert, every movement calculated. The cheetah's heart beats a measured rhythm, conserving energy for a moment that will demand everything. The wind shifts, carrying a warning, and in that instant, predator and prey become locked in a silent, invisible dialogue, each reading the other with the precision of evolution. The savannah holds its breath. The cheetah, a Synonyx jubatus, is an apex predator of the open savannas and grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, a specialist built for speed rather than brute strength. Unlike other large cats, its evolutionary path has favored a lean, lightweight frame, flexible spine, long limbs, and an enlarged heart and lungs, all adaptations that allow it to accelerate from a resting state to over 100 kilometers per hour in under 3 seconds. Its semi-retractable claws provide traction akin to running spikes, while its long tail serves as a dynamic rudder, stabilizing rapid turns during high-speed chases. This specialization has come at a cost. The cheetah sacrifices muscle mass and climbing ability, making it less capable in prolonged fights or confrontations with larger predators, such as lions or hyenas. Survival depends not on domination, but on precision, timing, and the efficient expenditure of energy. Cheetahs occupy a critical niche within their ecosystems. Their prey primarily consists of small to medium-sized ungulates, such as Impala, Thompson's gazelles, and young wildebeest, species that themselves have evolved for agility and alertness. Predation by cheetahs keeps these herbivore populations balanced, reducing overgrazing and contributing indirectly to the health of grasslands. Studies have shown that cheetah hunts succeed only 30 to 40% of the time, emphasizing the delicate balance between energy investment and caloric return. Unlike ambush predators that rely on stealth alone, cheetahs depend on the interplay of sight, speed, and split-second decision-making. Their eyes, forward-facing and equipped with a high density of photoreceptors, allow them to detect movement across the horizon, anticipating prey trajectories with remarkable accuracy. The open landscapes they inhabit present both opportunity and danger. Sparse cover forces a cheetah to rely on patience. Patience measured in minutes of low crouch on the tall grass, where each flick of the tail or rustle of grass can betray a hidden presence. The wind dictates a hunt. A single misjudgment in its direction can alert prey and squander precious energy. In addition, cheetahs face constant threats from interspecific competition. Lions, leopards, and hyenas will readily displace them from kills, and the energy lost in defensive encounters is costly. Evolution has thus favored a combination of speed, acute vision, and behavioral caution, a predator exquisitely tuned to the demands of the savanna. The impala, Epiceros melampus, representative of the deer-class prey in African savannas, is a study in evolutionary refinement for evasion and endurance. Standing just under a meter at the shoulder and weighing between 40 and 60 kilograms, the impala is designed for speed, agility, and acute sensory perception. Its long, slender limbs, spring-like tendons, and powerful hindquarters allow it to accelerate rapidly and execute dramatic, high-arching leaps over obstacles, sometimes exceeding 6 meters in length and 2 meters in height. This physical architecture serves as a vital countermeasure to predators like the cheetah, whose attacks rely on bursts of extreme speed over short distances. Unlike the cheetah, however, the impala's specialization favors endurance and verticality over absolute top speed, enabling it to survive sudden charges and evade capture through rapid, unpredictable maneuvers. Impala exists within highly structured social systems that enhance survival. Herds provide collective vigilance, with sentinels scanning the horizon while others graze. Alarm calls, typically shrill barks or snorts, signal the presence of predator, coordinating a response in fractions of a second. Observational studies demonstrate that the spacing within a herd, along with the synchronized flight patterns during a chase, significantly reduces individual predation risk. Impala have evolved a behavioral repertoire, that includes zigzag sprints and sudden directional changes, exploiting the cheetah's limitations in endurance and cornering at extreme speeds. The savanna environment imposes additional selective pressures. Seasonal variations dictate water availability, vegetation density, and predation risk, requiring both predator and prey to make calculated decisions daily. For impalas, the open plains offer early visual detection of approaching predators, but little physical cover. Conversely, thickets and scattered acacia groves provide concealment but reduce escape space. This dynamic has driven the evolution of highly acute vision, a keen sense of smell, and an instinctive responsiveness to subtle environmental cues, from a shift of wind to the distant vibration of footsteps across dry grass. Studies utilizing high-speed cameras and GPS tracking have quantified these interactions. Successful evasion often depends not on raw speed alone, but on the ability to anticipate the predator's trajectory, exploit terrain, and execute rapid, coordinated leaps that exceed the cheetah's maneuvering capacity at maximum velocity. In this predator-prey interplay, energy economics govern survival. Each sprint exacts a measurable physiological cost. Lactic acid accumulation, elevated heart rate, and depleted glycogen stores. The impala must balance vigilance with a need to feed. The herd must navigate a landscape where a single misjudgment can mean death. Meanwhile, the cheetah strategy is shaped around these limitations, timing its approach to exploit moments of distraction, fatigue, or isolation. This delicate equilibrium reflects millions of years of coevolution, where predator and prey continually refine their respective adaptations, creating a living calculus of speed, endurance, and survival that defines the rhythm of the savanna. Survival in the savanna is measured in fractions of seconds, and for the cheetah, every anatomical and behavioral trait converges on a single brutal necessity: capturing prey before energy stores are exhausted. Unlike ambush predators that can linger in hiding for hours or lions that rely on group coordination, the cheetah's survival depends on a solitary, calculated burst of speed. Physiological studies reveal that during a high-speed chase, its heart rate can exceed 240 beats per minute, oxygen consumption skyrockets, and body temperature rises rapidly. Such exertion cannot be sustained for more than 20 to 30 seconds, making timing the hunt critical. The cheetah must accurately estimate distance, trajectory, and prey speed while factoring in terrain variations. Subtle dips, patches of long grass, or hardened earth can either aid or undermine its efforts. From the prey's perspective, the impala has evolved a counterbalance of endurance and evasion tactics. Each sprint triggers an immediate instinctive sequence: acceleration at top speed, zigzag maneuvers to force the predator to oversteer, and vertical leaps that obscure the animal's silhouette against the ground. Observational field studies document that impalas use terrain subtly, often leading predators toward areas where vegetation impedes acceleration or reduces maneuverability. Herd dynamics amplify these strategies. Individuals in the center of a tightly clustered group are less likely to be targeted, and coordinated flight patterns generate confusion, forcing the cheetah to commit to a single target in a matter of seconds. High-speed hunts also illuminate a biological paradox. Despite the cheetah's unparalleled speed, most hunts end in failure. Research in Serengeti and Masai Mara reserves shows that fewer than half of all chases result in a capture. This low success rate reflects the energy trade-offs inherent in extreme specialization. While the cheetah can outrun its prey in a straight sprint, it cannot maintain this velocity for extended distances. The impala's combination of agility, stamina, and herd cooperation exploits this limitation. The predator must constantly weigh risk and reward. A misjudged chase can leave exhausted, vulnerable to other larger predators, or even starvation if energy expenditure exceeds caloric gain. Beyond the hunt itself, these interactions shape broader survival strategies. Cheetahs often hunt during cooler parts of the day, early morning or late afternoon, to mitigate heat stress, while prey species have evolved temporal patterns of activity to balance feeding and vigilance. Each pursuit is therefore not just a test of speed, but finely tuned negotiation with physiology, environment, and probability. It is a dynamic dialogue in which evolutionary pressures are enacted in real time, measured in meters per second and heartbeats, in the precise coordination of muscle fibers under maximum load. The outcome is never certain, but the stakes are absolute: survival or death. Cheetahs display a refined form of intelligence that is instinctual, yet highly adaptive. Unlike predators that rely on brute force, the cheetah must calculate approach angles, anticipate evasive maneuvers, and adjust mid-chase to maintain pursuit efficiency. Field observations using GPS collars and high-speed cameras reveal that cheetahs often begin hunts at the edge of prey herds, subtly driving individuals toward open spaces where speed can be maximized. These strategies are not learned in a single lifetime but honed through experience. Juveniles practice stalking and short bursts of sprinting, gradually integrating lessons about terrain, wind direction, and herd behavior. This instinctual intelligence is mirrored in the prey. Impalas interpret subtle cues, grass displacement, predator posture, the scent of a wind shift, to make split-second decisions that may determine survival. Here, cognition is inseparable from evolution. It manifests not in abstract thought, but in movement, timing, and responsiveness. Social structures also play a critical role. While cheetahs are largely solitary, females maintain overlapping territories that provide both shelter and access to prey-rich areas. Males, by contrast, sometimes form coalitions, typically of siblings, to defend larger territories and increase hunting success. Impalas, conversely, rely on tightly knit herds where collective vigilance is paramount. Sentinels rotate positions, ensuring that at least one individual maintains visual and auditory awareness while others feed. The interaction of predator and prey within these social frameworks creates a complex ecological dance. Success of the hunter requires not just speed, but timing, patience, and strategic positioning, while survival for prey hinges on cooperation, vigilance, and the unpredictable execution of instinctive maneuvers. Rival species exert additional pressures on both predator and prey. Lions, leopards, and hyenas constantly threaten cheetahs, both directly through confrontations and indirectly by influencing hunting patterns. A cheetah must often abandon a kill if larger carnivores approach, a cost measured not only in lost calories, but in wasted energy and increased vulnerability. Similarly, impalas face a multitude of predators, from crocodiles at river crossings to leopards lying in wait in shaded thickets. These overlapping threats have driven convergent adaptations: cryptic coloration, rapid acceleration, acute sensory perception, and the instinctive reading of subtle environmental cues. Each species exists in a web of pressures, where every movement carries the weight of potential life or death consequences. Underlying all of these behaviors is the moral neutrality of nature. Predators hunt not out of malice, nor prey flee out of fear as humans define it. Every chase, every sprint, every sudden leap is a response to physiological need and environmental opportunity. Cheetahs pursue because energy demands must be met. Impalas flee because survival depends on instantaneous interpretation of risk. In this, the savannah operates as a realm of impartial laws. Speed, endurance, agility, and timing dictate outcomes, not sentiment. Observing these dynamics, one gains a clear perspective on the fundamental principle of life in the wild. Existence is a continuous negotiation with risk, where adaptation, instinct, and the unforgiving arithmetic of energy expenditure determine the margin between life and death. The sun has risen higher, casting stark shadows across the savannah. The wind is steady, cool, carrying scents and subtle vibrations across the dry grass. The cheetah crouches low, muscles coil like springs, eyes fixed on a lone impala at the herd's periphery. Its tail twitches, adjusting micro-angles for stability. Every exhalation conserves precious energy. The impala grazes, ears flicking, nose quivering, its instincts tuned to the slightest irregularity in the landscape. Then a shift. The predator's body tenses. The wind carries a sharper scent, and the impala senses danger. In that fraction of a second, the balance of the savannah tilts. With a sudden surge, the cheetah propels itself forward, limbs extending and compressing with mechanical precision. Its acceleration is immediate, muscle fibers firing in perfect synchrony, spine flexing like a bowstring, claws digging into the earth with every stride. The impala react instinctively, hindquarters coiling, launching into a vertical, bounding sprint. Its hooves strike the ground in a staccato rhythm, sending up sprays of dust. The predator and prey are locked in a dynamic negotiation of speed, trajectory, and terrain. Each curve, each microadjustment, is a test of evolutionary extremes. The cheetah gains ground over the first few hundred meters, its eyes never leaving the impala, calculating angles and predicting leaps. Yet the prey is not passive. It zigzags sharply, forcing the predator to alter direction mid-sprint. These maneuvers are costly. The cheetah's top speed diminishes slightly with each abrupt turn, while the impala uses the energy-efficient elasticity of its tendons and joints to maintain agility. Observational studies of similar hunts indicate that such evasive actions often determine survival. A well-timed leap or sudden change of course can disrupt the predator's balance, creating a vital gap. Terrain becomes a silent arbiter in this high-speed contest. Patches of dry, uneven soil slow the cheetah, requiring micro-corrections with tail and forelimbs. Grass tufts obscure sight lines, forcing both hunter and prey to rely on instinct and learned perception. The impala, lighter and more maneuverable, exploits these irregularities, veering toward areas where the cheetah's stride is less efficient. Heart rates for both species surge. The cheetah's oxygen demand rises exponentially, the impala's metabolism taxed by repeated explosive leaps. For observers, this is a study in precision, timing, and endurance. Every millisecond counts. Every footfall matters. The chase stretches over 300 to 400 meters, a brief but absolute crucible. Spectacular acceleration, the interplay of predator anticipation and prey improvisation, and the unforgiving arithmetic of energy expenditure define the moment. A miscalculation, an overextended stride, a slip in the grass can be fatal for either party. Here, biology dictates drama, not sentiment. The savannah itself seems to hold its breath, the golden grass rippling silently as life's raw equations are enacted in real time. The impala veers sharply toward a cluster of low shrubs, hooves skimming dry earth, dust rising in ephemeral clouds. The cheetah adjusts, spine flexing with near impossible precision, claws gripping the soil, tail lashing to stabilize the rapid turn. Every muscle fiber is engaged. Oxygen floods its bloodstream, heart hammering, lungs expanding with each strained intake. For a heartbeat, predator and prey are nearly side by side, moving as though connected by an invisible thread of tension. Then, the terrain shifts, a shallow depression hidden by tall grass. The impala lands with a sharp jolt, hind legs absorbing impact, momentum carrying it forward, and the cheetah overreaches, forced to brake slightly to regain balance. Observational data shows that such microterrain variations are often decisive. A predator at maximum velocity cannot fully compensate for unexpected changes in footing, whereas the prey's lighter frame and spring-loaded tendons absorb and redirect energy efficiently. The impala's movements become a series of high, bounding leaps, each one throwing the predator slightly off axis. The cheetah presses on, claws scraping against hardened soil, nasal passages burning with exertion. Its muscles begin to produce lactic acid, limiting sustained contraction. For the impala, energy reserves are being tested as well. Heart rate elevated, lungs straining to keep pace with oxygen demand, but the animal's evolution favors bursts of agility over pure top speed. The herd's distant alarm calls echo faintly, a reminder that survival is not solitary but communal, and impala exploits the fleeting advantage of distance and cover. In the final meters, predator and prey reach their physiological limits. The cheetah's acceleration is fading, its stride slightly shortened, spine less springy, yet its focus remains unbroken. The impala makes one last, desperate zigzag, a sharp lateral motion that creates a critical angle between itself and the predator. For a fraction of a second, the cheetah's claws miss the target by centimeters. Exhaustion overtakes precision. The hunt cannot be maintained longer without risking collapse. Observational studies of hundreds of similar hunts report that failure at this stage is common, a testament to the fine balance between speed, agility, and energy economy. The chase ends with the impala breaking into denser cover, disappearing from view. The cheetah comes to a stagger halt, lungs heaving, muscles trembling under lactic acid buildup. Its success is measured not in capture, but in survival. Energy spent, distance covered, and the reinforcement of hunting instincts. The impala, panting and trembling, regains composure, scanning the horizon for secondary threats, a living embodiment of evolutionary resilience. The savannah, ever impartial, resumes its quiet rhythm. Grass sways in the breeze, birds call from distant trees, and life continues, indifferent to the drama that has just unfolded. For the cheetah, a failed hunt is not a minor setback, but a significant physiological event. The explosive sprint depletes glycogen stores in the muscles, elevates lactic acid levels, and raises core temperature, requiring a period of rest and recovery before the predator can attempt another chase. Field studies show that cheetahs often rest for 30 to 60 minutes after such exertion, lying low in shaded grass or behind subtle terrain features to reduce thermal load and conserve energy. Any miscalculation during recovery, movement in open terrain, proximity of larger predators, can render the exhausted cheetah vulnerable. Lions and hyenas are known to displace cheetahs from kills or even attack them opportunistically. In this way, each high-speed pursuit carries compounded consequences beyond immediate energy expenditure. It is a calculated risk, the balance of which determines not only the individual's next meal, but its survival in a competitive landscape. The physiological toll is mirrored in subtle behavioral adjustments. Cheetahs demonstrate strategic patience following unsuccessful hunts, often shifting hunting zones or targeting smaller, more predictable prey to mitigate further energetic loss. Repeated failures can influence reproductive success. Females rely on adequate caloric intake to maintain gestation and lactation, while males must sustain muscle mass and stamina to patrol territories or maintain coalition dominance. The Savannah statistical reality is stark. Cheetahs reproduce slowly relative to other predators, and every failed hunt reverberates through survival and reproductive probabilities. Each sprint, successful or not, reinforces an unspoken rule of the ecosystem. Energy is finite, and miscalculation carries both immediate and cumulative cost. For the Impala, the aftermath is different but no less consequential. Escaping the predator intact requires maximum exertion, triggering elevated heart rates and high levels of stress hormones, such as cortisol. While these responses enhance immediate survival, they incur metabolic costs, increasing vulnerability to illness or secondary threats. Field observations reveal that animals recovering from a high-speed chase often display cautious behavior, maintaining heightened vigilance and reducing feeding time to allow recovery. Herd cohesion is temporarily strengthened after such encounters. Individuals cluster more tightly, synchronize movements, and adjust grazing patterns, implicitly reinforcing collective defense mechanisms. These adaptive responses are not conscious, but are encoded in the species' evolutionary memory, guiding behavior in life-and-death situations with remarkable precision. The ecological impact of such chases extends beyond the immediate participants. Predation pressure influences prey distribution, foraging patterns, and reproductive strategies. A single escape reinforces the importance of vigilance, shaping her behavior and territorial dynamics. Simultaneously, the predator's presence affects competitive behavior. Lions, leopards, and hyenas adjust hunting times and territories in response to cheetah activity, creating a dynamic web of interdependent strategies. In this manner, even a failed hunt contributes to the maintenance of ecological balance, demonstrating that survival is not measured solely by kills, but by the continuous negotiation of risk, energy, and environmental opportunity. In the hours following the chase, the cheetah remains hidden in a small depression among the tall grasses, limbs trembling as lactic acid is gradually cleared from its muscles. Its coat is streaked with dust, eyes scanning intermittently for larger predators that might exploit its fatigue. Recovery is not instantaneous. It requires a combination of shade, minimal movement, and slow physiological recalibration. Observational studies confirm that even minor disturbances during this period, such as the approach of a hyena or a lion, can force the cheetah to abandon its resting position, increasing caloric expenditure and compounding the cost of an already unsuccessful hunt. In this way, each encounter with prey becomes a calculated gamble, with consequences that extend hours, even days, into the predator's survival calculus. The Impala, meanwhile, rejoins the herd after moments of solitary vigilance, still recovering from the anaerobic sprint that brought its heart rate to maximum capacity. Its muscles ache, but the species' evolutionary design favors rapid recovery through efficient circulation, elastic tendons, and metabolic pathways that restore energy quickly. The herd's coordinated movements resume, grazing cautiously, ears flicking at every sound, tails signaling alarm when subtle shifts occur in the wind or in vegetation. Each escape reinforces behavioral norms. Younger individuals learn indirectly by observing adults, internalizing patterns of vigilance, spacing, and flight. These micro-learning events accumulate over a lifetime, contributing to a population-level resilience that sustains the species across generations. On a broader scale, these encounters shape the savanna ecosystem. Predator-prey interactions regulate herbivore numbers, preventing overgrazing and promoting plant diversity. Failed hunts, though dramatic, maintain a dynamic equilibrium. Cheetahs expend energy without overexploiting prey populations, while impalas refine strategies that ensure survival. Other species observe these exchanges indirectly. Scavengers monitor areas where kills might occur, competing predators adjust territories, and even vegetation patterns shift in response to herbivore grazing pressures. The savanna operates as a network of interlinked consequences, where each pursuit, each leap, each near miss contributes to the ongoing negotiation of survival, resource allocation, and ecological balance. Ultimately, the aftermath of a chase is both immediate and enduring. The cheetah, the impala, and the surrounding environment are all subtly altered by the event. Muscles fatigued, instincts reinforced, herds more vigilant, and territories subtly adjusted. Field research underscores this principle. Ecosystems are maintained not through constant success or failure, but through the continuous interplay of challenge, exertion, and adaptation. The hunt, whether successful or not, is a single episode in an unbroken chain of evolutionary pressure, a reminder that survival is neither guaranteed nor permanent, but negotiated moment by moment through speed, perception, and endurance. The cheetah and the impala move through savanna not as heroes or villains, but as embodiments of nature's impartial law. Speed, agility, and instinct govern their lives, dictating survival without judgment or sentiment. Each chase, each narrow escape, is a negotiation with reality, a fleeting intersection of anatomy, physiology, and environment where every movement carries consequence. In these moments, life is distilled to its essence, energy expended, decisions enacted, and the balance of ecosystems maintained. The savanna remains indifferent. Grass bends and sways in the wind. Birds call from distant trees, and waterholes glimmer under the sun's steady rise. Life continues, measured not by victories or losses, but by persistence. The cheetah rests, muscles gradually recovering. The impala grazes, alert but unbroken. Both have endured, both have been tested, and both contribute to the rhythm of the plains, where predator and prey exist in a continuum of challenge and adaptation. In the quiet aftermath, one observes a profound truth. Survival is neither fair nor moral, but exquisitely precise. Nature favors neither courage nor cunning for its own sake, but the execution of abilities honed over millennia. Speed reaches its limit, endurance is tested, and instinct is realized with absolute clarity. These encounters are fleeting yet consequential, shaping behavior, physiology, and population dynamics. In their restraint and efficiency, predator and prey reveal the elegance of life governed by unyielding, impartial law, a law that endures far beyond any individual chase, far beyond any single life. In the ceaseless flow of the savanna,